Nyjah Huston is without a doubt the most dominant skater in the skateboarding competition scene today. His consistency to be able to land tricks is absolutely insane, and his ability to outperform his competition is clear to see by his hundreds of competition wins and 20 SLS trophies on display in his California mansion. He is also the highest paid skateboarder in the world and has won more prize money from competitions than any other skater in history. Today his life is closer to one of a celebrity than a typical skater. With millions of followers on his social medias, he can be seen posting pictures with him and celebrities on the regular. He's broken into the mainstream in almost the extent that Tony Hawk and Rob Dyrdek have, and is quickly becoming a household name. He is also sponsored by and has his own shoe from Nike. But all that doesn't come without its fair share of negativity and hate. And it's because of the lifestyle that he lives that people often call him cocky and say that he offends the core values of skateboarding and doesn't have any style in his skating and looks robotic when he does his tricks. But I think a lot of people fail to realize where Nyjah came from and the reason why he's so good at skateboarding. At the end of the day, I think he's just misunderstood, and because of this, gets a lot of undeserved hate. So that's why in today's episode of Skate Stories, I'll be telling you the story of Nyjah Huston. Nyjah Huston was born on November 3rd, 1944 in Davis, California in his own home. That's right, he was actually not born in a hospital because his parents were Rastafarian.
You might not know it now because I just look like a typical white lady from California. But for 15 years, I wore a head wrap. I did not own a pair of pants.
I was raised vegan for the first 15 years of my life. Very strict vegan because my dad was very set on that.
We homeschooled our children. All of our children, for example, were born at home. As a Rasta family, we made a conscious effort to kind of separate ourselves from society. And so I think skateboarding in the sports world was a way that we were able to do that.
My dad used to skate back in his teenage years, and he loved it. So then I think when he had me and my brothers, he really wanted to kind of get us into skateboarding.
Nyjah got into skateboarding at the young age of 5 years old, thanks to his father that would introduce him to skating, and result in Nyjah falling in love with it right away. He was a very fast learner thanks to his dad going out and skating with him and his brothers almost every day, and because of his passion for skating and the consistent practice he was getting from his dad, he ended up winning his first contest when he was only 6 years old. As soon as Nyjah started winning competitions, his dad became more strict and made Nyjah get on his own workout and skateboarding program to ensure he would keep winning them.
But yeah, we literally won every contest. It was crazy. And I mean, everyone knows like I had a strict dad growing up, so
Right.
he was always like on our ass, like, you guys need to be winning this shit.
Okay.
He would like have us on the program, stretching before, wake up super early in the morning, made sure we like had our runs down and stuff. It was hectic being that young and having like a father figure that was so like, oh, like you need to do good, you know?
Right,
But at the
right.
same time, I've always been competitive,
Yeah.
so I was kind of down with it too.
His dad would begin recording Nyjah's street skating when he was only 7 years old, and by the time he was 8, he put out a sponsoring tape, and would later get sponsored by Element the same year. It was also at the same time that his dad rebuilt and gained access to an indoor skate park that was only 15 minutes away from their home, and they had unlimited access to skate there from when Nyjah was 8 to 11 years old. It was during his time at this park that Nyjah was able to get really good at skateboarding and learned a lot of basic tricks and became very consistent with them too.
The way I progressed fast with having that park is from when I was probably 8 to 10 years old, I would go there every day, or like at least 5 days a week. We would normally go street skate on weekends.
Okay.
But I would have similar lines I would do every single day.
Oh.
I would like feeble across my rail, come back, front feeble down, come back, crook across the rail, nose grind down. I have these like little routine that I would do every day because I'm super OCD just with everything in general.
Yeah, okay.
And that went on for a couple years, and that's how I like mastered the simple tricks
Right.
at an early age, which is really important and makes I feel like getting better at skating so much easier.
Absolutely.
And I would go through these like hour, 2, 3 hour long like routines of just practicing tricks, and then after that I'd be like, all right, now I can learn something new, and then I
Okay.
would learn normally at least like a trick or two every day.
His style of learning was very unique, and he was only 9 years old when he got his first Thrasher magazine article. And it was later the same year that he became an amateur for Element, and had the honor of having the last part in Elementality, a full-length Element skate video, featuring some of the best skaters of the time, including Jeremy Ray and Bam Margera. It was clear that Nyjah was starting to make a name for himself, and he was known as the crazy little kid of dreads that could absolutely shred. It was only 1 year after getting sponsored by Element that Nyjah ended up winning his first Tampa Am when he was only 10 years old, which absolutely put him on the map. The next year, at only 11 years old, Nyjah was invited to the X Games and ended up placing 8th. Although he didn't win, this is extremely impressive, and he was literally being featured on TV for his skating. Things were starting to really take off, and Nyjah's skateboarding career was looking very promising. But right as Nyjah was starting to become known in the skateboarding scene, his dad decided to move the family and Nyjah to Puerto Rico.
So that was always my dream, to just live in the Southern California area. And then my dad was like, "Oh, we're gonna move to Puerto Rico." And I mean, I didn't have much say, you know.
Yeah.
It was my dad's decision. At that time, he was just growing weed, and I'm pretty sure he wanted to go out there and grow some outdoor and stuff.
Okay.
I don't really know still, like, what his thought process was on that. I never really got to talk to him about it fully.
Okay.
All I can really think it had to do with was kind of keeping, as a lot of people know, my dad grew up, or like raised us in that super like kind of secluded like Rastafarian lifestyle where he didn't want me to cut my hair, no alcohol, didn't want me and my friends to have friends with bad influences, didn't want us to go to normal schools, didn't want us to get involved with girls at a young age, didn't want us to eat meat, like all that kind of stuff revolves around that lifestyle. And don't get me wrong, like I have nothing against that lifestyle. I think it's really cool. I think it's a healthy, great lifestyle, but at the same time, you can't really just like control people with that. You know, it's kind of something that you gotta let someone find on themselves.
During this time, his dad decided to start Nyjah's own board company, I&I, and started to become more controlling over Nyjah's life. And because Nyjah was stuck out in Puerto Rico, he was missing out on a lot of opportunities for contests and was losing his relationship with his sponsor Element. He had practically disappeared from the skateboarding world, only showing up to a handful of events. A few years after living in Puerto Rico, Nyjah's mom decided to leave his father, leaving Nyjah with no choice but to stay in Puerto Rico with his dad because he was his coach and manager for skateboarding.
Their dad was so angry with me, and he refused to take me to the airport. So I had 4 children with me, and I had to hire a van. And Nyjah came out to the van. And I'm gonna break down when I talk about this, but that was the worst, because the way he looked at me and the way I looked at him, we both knew, like, this is it. Mom's leaving, but Mom has to leave.
Well, this was like the shitty thing is that my dad was obviously my manager and stuff.
Okay.
And then all my siblings left back to Davis with my mom, and I was kind of the one that was stuck with my dad, which I was super bummed on, and I didn't really like have much say because my dad's like, oh, like obviously I'm gonna like stay with him, I'm filmer, manager, all this stuff.
Right. And
I was just sitting there like sick. Now I'm just here without my brothers and stuff tight. I was pretty bummed.
Nyjah would rarely see his mom over the next 2 years, with his dad controlling his travel and insisting on staying in Puerto Rico. In 2009, Nyjah's mom finally filed for a divorce in hopes of getting full custody of Nyjah and his 3 siblings. It was up to the court to decide which parent controlled Nyjah's career. 1 month later, the judge would decide that Nyjah would live with his mom in California. This deeply upset his father, and his relationship with him has never been the same since. The divorce was hard on Nyjah, but he kept on skating, and when he got back to Cali, he would get back with his sponsor Element, and this time get his own pro board. Following this, he would go on to win his most important competition yet, the first Street League, resulting in him getting a $150,000 check for his victory, which was life-changing for Nyjah and his family. He would continue to absolutely dominate in Street League, and would win 3 in a row, and also cut off his iconic dreads in the middle of filming Rise and Shine, which was an absolute bombshell of a part when it came out, and skaters went absolutely crazy over it. With his skateboarding career back on track, Nyjah was able to get his first taste of freedom after always being able to told what to do by his dad. He was finally able to live a somewhat normal life and be able to have friends. Throughout the years, he would continue to absolutely dominate in competitions and pick up more and more sponsors, such as Nike, Element, Monster Energy, Diamond Supply, and the list goes on. Back in 2018, he released one of the best video parts to ever be seen, called Till Death. The part features many kinked handrails and also many slams, one of which he had to get stitches on his head for and then went back and finished the trick. If you guys already haven't seen his Till Death part, I highly recommend you do after watching this video. Today, Nyjah's net worth is estimated at $6 million, all money he made from winning contests and sponsorships. With his money, he can afford to live a life that many people can only dream of having. He bought a $2.5 million home overlooking the ocean, and also has a nice collection of cars, including a Mercedes-Benz C-Class, an Audi R8, and a Lamborghini. He also has his own private skateboard that was custom built for him to be perfect for practicing for competitions. It's because of this flashy lifestyle that he lives today, and just the sheer number of competitions that he wins, that has has resulted in Nyjah getting his fair share of hate in the skateboarding community. Some people hate on him for his lifestyle and say it's too flashy and say that he should be more humble, and others hate on him because he wins every competition, and I guess eventually once you win so many, people get bored of seeing you win and just want to see you lose. They say Nyjah has no style and that he skates for the wrong reasons, and he only wants to win and gets mad if he doesn't.
Does it ever get old?
Man, I mean, getting second does. I was going for the win.
But at the end of the day, people seem to forget where Nyjah came from. He was raised in a Rastafarian lifestyle. He didn't come from money, and he was taught how to work hard for the things that he wants. He's self-made and without a doubt has worked extremely hard for everything he owns. And although he might skate to win, is there anything really wrong with that? He was raised in a competitive environment thanks to his father, and that's just the person he's become. Very competitive. His style may seem robotic because of how many times he's done the same trick over and over again and literally perfected it to the point of nailing it every single time. Everybody skates for a different reason, and there isn't a right or a wrong reason to skate. And no matter what you think of him as a person, you gotta admit, he is one of the best skaters in the world right now. And the story of Nyjah Huston isn't even close to being over. Keep in mind he's only 25 years old and still has a lot of things ahead of him. And you'll be sure to see him in the Olympics whenever we have them again. So as of July 2020, that is the story of Nyjah Huston. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like as it helps the YouTube algorithm, and if you're new, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss another upload like this one. And also, if you have any ideas for what skater I should do a video like this one on next, leave a comment down below. Anyway, that's all I have for today. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.